I'm Mike Moran, Papapuga, and this is episode 7 of Putting the Real in Real Estate on the Real podcast. And we have a repeat special guest.
We brought him back.
Because we had to.
Yes.
Because there was so much content to show.
I think we wanted to cover
a lot more.
A lot more, yes.
Because it was very informative and the buyers and sellers out there have to know.
And I wanted to go over the whole transaction.
Jay, what are we hitting on today?
Let's talk about the transaction.
How does it start?
Real pre-approvals.
With
Real.
you. Starts with him.
Starts with a lender.
Okay.
Broker.
Absolutely. If you do it right.
2.
And then we'll go kind of old school versus new school mortgage.
Love it.
I love old school, new school.
You do. You do. Thanks for being back. First time guests been on twice?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I would like to talk about the whole transaction, but we'll get into that. But first,
Oh boy.
This is what we came for.
What do we have here? This,
I'm going to spin it twice.
by far, I'm going to give a big shout out to my 2 buddies that got me hooked on this, Brian LaCroix, Brad Miller. What do I have here? Ice Cream Man by Back East. They're right up in Bloomfield.
Delicious.
They're about an hour and 20 minutes north of us in Connecticut. This is only 6.4%,
Yes.
which means I'll be able to make it to the end.
Right up your alley.
Yes. Ice Cream Man, delicious, Back East. This was the IPA that put me onto IPAs.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Do we try?
Absolutely.
1 sip?
Every those rules. For me, it's one big sip.
One big
All right.
sip, yeah.
Here's the ice cream, man.
Delicious.
Definitely not 9%.
No, it's not a 9er, but it's a 6er.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Their double IPA is 8.
I'd like to try that.
All right.
Future episode.
Thank you.
Double scoop.
Double scoop. What do you think rating-wise?
Want me to go?
Honestly. Go ahead. You go
This
first.
is good. It's
It's refreshing. Tastes like an orangicle.
I'm not sure what that orangicle is, but if there were one, it'd probably taste like it.
You ever have an ice cream orangicle? It's the
I've had a
best thing we had.
creamsicle.
Oh, I mean,
I'm going. I gotta spin it again. One more sip. I've had it 8,000 times this beer, but
creamsicle. Go ahead. Give it a rating.
I mean, what am I doing?
Give it a rating.
You gotta rate it first.
I know.
Yeah, give it a rating.
I'm acting like I have to take another sip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Half,
Ooh, all
five
right.
and a half.
What do you got, Jay?
Well, I gave Dogs and Boats 5.5. That was a 9% smooth. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna really mess with the camera guy and go 5.375. Just because I'm a mortgage guy, we play in the eighths
my
with
goodness.
interest rates.
Oh my god! So you gotta go ahead, do it.
You know,
Do it. Give him the thumbs.
And then 3.75 is kind of like here. Sorry, mortgages we work in the eighths.
I know.
So
Tom, Heather, we love you. Okay, I'm going 5 3/4.
ooh, right there with it.
tie with Dogs and Boats. All right.
Tink. Right there. All right, let's get down to business.
All right, let's do
Because
it.
I know people love this, but damn it, people love hearing about what is going to get them into a house.
So can I start with
You go.
the whole transaction? Where it should start.
Yep.
And you know this too.
Yes.
Where should it start? With him. If you're working this is on the buyer side now.
It is.
Now on the selling side, it's different. But if you are working as a buyer's agent, you should not be showing houses.
But that's what I was going to say. Like, no offense to anybody out there, because I know personally I've talked to friends, clients, whatever you want to say, that they're like, hey, Mike, I want to see this house listed in East Lyme for $350. Great. Are you pre-qualified?
Yeah.
And they kind of give you a face sometimes.
They do.
Because honestly, our job is to make sure they're pre-qualified.
Exactly. You're looking out.
It's nothing like
Right.
blowing smoke, because what if they're not pre-qualified?
And what happens when they see that house that they're not they love it.
I love it. I want to buy it. Great. You're
Big
not
letdown.
him.
You have to get pre-approved, pre-qualified. Call it what you want.
Yes.
Okay.
Pre-approved is what it's at, because that's what you do. You get everything up. But go ahead. I'm not gonna just speak.
Yeah.
Will do. For us, it's all the same, right? So we'll issue a pre-approval. So we're not going to send a letter to you or you.
Right.
As much as I've known you a long time and like you.
Thank you.
We'll get a letter when they're really
Really,
pre-approved,
right.
a real pre-approval. So if you're not providing your income, your assets, having your credit run,
Yes.
you're not really pre-approved.
Correct.
All right, so we get all that up front. Before we issue a letter, we're gonna
You're gonna make sure, right.
they make what they say they make.
Right.
We're going to make sure that they have the assets or a path to the assets. Maybe they're getting a gift. We'll confirm that with them. And we're going to run their credit. Make sure that they're eligible.
But it's really all about the communication between our clients and you, or a lender,
So-
talking about it.
Yeah, if you go to, I mean, this is real, so we can talk about
It is
the
real.
Rocket, click button, get mortgage. We
Yeah.
have that too.
Sure.
You can click a button, fill out the info, get the mortgage. But we had a client recently who went to Rocket Mortgage. They were pre-approved for $400,000 because they make $6,000 a month, which they really do.
Sure they do.
However, it's cash.
However,
And it's
don't
not
forget the howevers.
verified. You can't verify the $6,000. So on their taxes, they
What
actually
happens when
claim
they
less.
can't verify it? What happens when
That's-
the guy's
well,
got...
this is what I'm saying. What
No,
happens?
I've had this. What happens? Explain to people what happens when they get the shoebox under their bed with 100 grand in it.
Well, I mean, there's things you can do, but when it comes to income,
Yeah.
if you get cash income, tips. This guy got a lot of tips, which is great.
Yep.
It's awesome.
But on his taxes, he claims
Keep doing it, buddy.
only enough to make. He qualifies for $185,000. Quicken told him $400.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Because they didn't verify.
because he said he made $6,000, which he really does, but a buyer doesn't know.
What exactly? So what
It's
did
not
Quicken,
their fault.
What did Quicken do that you would do? They didn't educate them that way. That's
They didn't
why.
educate him, and they just took his
Yes.
word, sent the information, and now you as an agent, especially in this market,
Yeah.
right? You're doing how many showings on average do you do per buyer? 10. It could be 50. And I've heard agents doing upwards of 50, 60
Sure.
showings.
Those are bad
Now you
things.
took 50, 60 showings to show this client that wasn't even really pre-approved.
Right.
Right.
And then even worse than you wasting your time, which is obviously bad, but this poor customer was excited about buying this house.
He's thinking,
and they
right,
weren't even
because
doing it.
they weren't even
And
weren't
that's,
pre-qualified.
and that's
right.
the worst part about it. So
Correct.
get a real pre-approval. If you're not getting your credit pulled, if you're not providing your income and assets, you're not really pre-approved.
Here's the thing is I'm going to say and add to that. And I know, Pat, you have your guy. This guy's my guy. If it takes a couple days to get everything done, it's okay. If someone says, hey, I want to put an offer in this house, and you say, hey, have you been pre-qualified? And they're like, well, no. If Jay says it's going to take a couple days, you got to wait a couple days because you don't want to pump somebody up. Like you said, if they're $400,000, but they're really at $300,000, that's a huge difference. So it's okay to tell your client, and they're going to look at you and say, listen, my real estate agent did their job setting me up with the right guy.
And this is
to do
our job, because you may meet people before we meet them. Typically, I think we're probably meeting buyers before you meet
most
them,
times you
right?
do. Yep.
What do you think the percentage is? Probably 85, 90%?
Yeah, I would say that's
Right.
good.
Right.
Yeah,
How many times people call you without an agent?
not often.
Exactly. So I think realtors as a whole, their job in the beginning is, and I do this, and what you just said, in this market, we have to educate our buyers.
Have to.
We have to educate the buyers.
Educate the buyers.
Exactly.
What?
Well, so you have to, if they don't get pre-approved, they may miss out on that house, especially in this market. I know it's cooling off a little, but still, so it's cooling off. So it's a house may sit for a week instead of a day.
But in comparison of if we call in this market cooling off, if you have a turnkey ready house, instead of having 15 offers,
it's still gonna go.
you might have 2, 3.
And if you do not,
And that's a good it's a good thing, by the way,
Yeah.
for buyers out there.
But if you don't have your ducks in a row,
Right.
You didn't meet with Jay,
You meet with Jay or whoever your lender
whoever.
is,
Yeah.
you're right here.
The bottom line, you're.
Because Papa Booga
Can I
said
say
so.
pissing in the wind?
Yeah. It's a strong win. We had a big strong win yesterday.
That was
Or is Ida?
yeah.
This market, because here's the thing is I know Jay busted my chops from episode 1 when I wasn't talking about when I did mortgages as much. But when I was doing mortgages with Jay, 03 to 04 and then 06 to 08, what is the difference right now between doing mortgages then and doing mortgages now?
Biggest difference?
Yep.
One word: affordability. Okay. Can you afford the mortgage?
Right.
Yes.
Back then, it didn't matter.
It did
Right.
not matter.
It did not matter.
It doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
That wasn't even. That just happened.
That just
man.
happened,
That's-
right? Yeah.
That's
I know.
real.
I'm gonna call
Right,
a
so-
rock on that one. Right?
So back then, it didn't matter.
It didn't.
It didn't
It
matter
really
if you
didn't.
could afford the mortgage or not.
And I know because actually you had some experience doing mortgages then too.
Hey.
With him.
With him.
And
guy.
no, but how many times though? And I was involved with it. And 680 credit score. I make $400K a year. You're really making 70, but
Right.
it didn't matter.
Right. So I ideally started out right stated income,
Stated,
which you
right.
just as the mortgage person you say how much they make.
Right.
You can look at someone's self-employment
Sure.
tax returns.
Sure.
They bring in $500,000 a year. They don't necessarily claim $500,000,
No, they don't.
but you know they're really making money.
Sure.
That's
they
where it started.
Right.
And then I guess it was Wall Street really that came down and said, you know what, let's do this for W-2 people, which
Wolf of
doesn't
Wall-
make any
this is
sense.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Not really, but kind of, I guess.
All right, okay.
Same type of people.
No, it was the Big Short.
The Big Short is the
Oh,
movie, the book.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Watch
okay.
that, you'll get
Watch
it.
it.
I
It
gotta watch
really
that one.
does tell you
Yeah,
what happened.
it does.
Maybe I'll watch.
So,
it. We'll see.
so basically, people got greedy, and it makes sense that somebody that's self-employed, a lot of self-employed people, not North Star,
Nope.
they don't claim what they make.
Sure.
Right? So they bring in a lot of money. Your landscaper, your restaurant people.
Sure.
They make a lot of money. They claim a lot less.
Barbers, hairdressers,
All of them.
everybody.
Right. So you know they have cash flow.
Yep.
So it makes sense to say, you know what, let's develop a program for them. But for somebody that's a salary making $50,000 a year,
Right.
doesn't make any sense
Nope.
to say they make $100 to
Right.
qualify for a mortgage.
Correct.
And that's what was happening back
Yes.
then. So they could say they make $100 to qualify for this mortgage, and then obviously they can't afford to pay it back.
Right.
When it was more so the excitement of like, hey, I can buy this loan.
Right.
And we talked about this on episode 1 or 2 about the 80-20 loans, where your first mortgage at 80% would be say 6%.
Which was good at the time.
Which was good at the time, and then
Right.
your second mortgage at the 20% would be 12%.
Right. But the first mortgage was fixed for 2 years and
Yes,
variable
yes,
after.
and that's
So when it went variable and
Yeah.
you didn't have any equity,
and you were done.
you were done.
So this is where we had, I forget what episode it was,
think it was
comparing markets.
To episode 2,
When we compared that market to this market.
because it's not because
And I think someone, I won't mention a name, but he
we
was a
talked-
mortgage guy.
Yeah, we talked
And he
about it. Like
commented on it. I agree 100% what he says, but I don't think we have not seen that bubble, because our bubble now
Is not even
short-lived. It's
Yes.
circumstantial too.
Right.
It's a product of COVID. It really is. So
110%.
people, you have the perfect storm, lack of inventory. People don't want to. They didn't last year, anyways. They didn't want people prancing through their house,
Right.
coughing all
They
over the
did
place,
not.
spreading that
Maybe
COVID.
sneezing.
Those guys, you don't want to spread that shit. So you don't. And the other thing was you had people relocating from the bigger cities.
They
That
had
could-
from
that could-
different states.
And why were they doing this? Because they were allowed to work from home,
Right.
work remotely.
If you were in New York City or anywhere in California, and you had your
Boston-
you had
Boston,
your 1-bedroom condo that you could sell for $1 million,
Yeah.
you would come around here, and a house was $600,000. You just pay for it cash.
99.
Nighty night. Nighty night is
Nighty
true.
night.
Right.
Sleeper. So that was the thing. And so what I saw, and I know you saw it too, in 2004, it was the perfect storm.
Right.
It was a perfect storm of bad things too.
Yeah.
So we definitely had more inventory back then.
Right. Because everybody knew they could make money.
You had people, they were making money,
right.
probably less qualified for certain houses. But what Jay just said, you had that 80-20, that variable loan that was sometimes
That's-
good for 2-3 years, right?
now,
Yeah, 2-3
now,
years
Are
and then it
those
goes variable
those,
after
those,
that.
What happened
are
after
those
that?
around? Are those around right now?
Adjustable rates are around, but it
not-
doesn't really
but
make
do
a
you
lot of sense
but
right
do you
now.
normally do
Nah,
that? No.
Everything's pretty much fixed. At
And
this point.
honestly, if the only people doing that I've seen, they're making big smoke. When I say big smoke, what's that? they're more
Yeah.
Puffin' smoke?
Yeah.
they're making good money.
Big smoke.
Big smoke, like
Yeah.
I want and I'm glad. I almost wish Jay was on episode 2 because when we're talking about the
I know.
mortgages and me being a part of it, I do remember certain things. But the difference between this market now, besides having this small inventory, the well-qualified buyers,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's the biggest thing is that you have to be qualified legitimately.
Sure.
In comparison to between 04 and say 07.
And
you know?
another thing too I can add to it is so 2004, 2005, 2006, it lasted for 3 years.
There was that crest up. Right,
And we talked
Yeah.
about this. Jay gave me some good info, a lot of the stats on the prices. What were the numbers? We had.
So we went 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we could get. I guarantee 04 to 05 was very similar. But what was 2018 to 2020?
Right. So we went
East Lyme.
East Lyme,
Yep.
right down the
2018.
We're here.
average home price $309,000.
Yep.
Now $369,900. So about $60,000
Sure.
increase.
Sure.
But I did the analysis.
What?
Putnam.
Putnam,
Thank
yep.
you.
Quiet corner.
Quiet
Yes,
corner.
I love the
Right?
quiet corner.
Same increase. 2018, August 2018, 195 average home price.
Sure.
Now up to 255 this August.
That's not huge.
But 60 grand.
Right.
But that's
I
a-
still think though, because living in Canterbury, I built a house. It was 2000. I think it was like 190. I sold that thing for probably 300K
Yeah.
in 2003.
Condo in Whetstone Mills.
Oh,
What'd you buy that for?
Where?
That was
were you in the mill or
in the mill.
In the townhouses?
But it was
the
one,
mill.
what, one
Okay.
bedroom, right? Condo. If
Uh,
I'm like,
one
it's
bedroom,
weird. It's
yep.
weird that I remember that.
Yeah.
But that's how old school we go back.
I
Yeah,
sold
so
a couple of houses over there. condos
That
over
was
there.
2003.
Sure.
Purchased for 80. Sold in 05 for 120.
There you
Nice.
go. 40 grand turnaround.
Right? But now they're back to.
No, yeah.
It's been
That-
it's been the up and
Yeah.
down, right? I know.
So I mean, it goes in waves.
Yes.
So
And the thing is, like right now, people can afford the mortgages, but
Right.
if the market corrects and they come down a little bit, what's going to happen if
Yeah.
The
they're
one
underwater
thing,
a little bit?
The one thing right now, though, the way mortgages are written, and I know you will definitely attest to this, it's a better process,
Way better.
and also I think there's less houses being sold.
Right.
The amount of homes being sold, you compare inventory, and I think we talked about this. 2018, there were probably 120 plus houses in East Lyme.
where in comparison to now,
35.
right? It's crazy.
And I'll even one up that with the under contract. I think there's like pending under contract recently sold, it's like 80.
Yeah.
3 months. That's a 3 month.
And I'll tell you what.
And I want to finish the transaction. See, the transaction, it definitely starts here.
You want to walk through it?
Yeah, let's go through it. So transaction,
Get
Pre-approval.
pre-approval.
Right.
Right.
What's next?
If you do a pre-approval right,
Right.
you have all the documentation.
we start going. It's go time.
You
show
go.
house.
You show a house.
Show a house.
Right.
What happens?
You
if-
guys do your thing.
Mike flex.
Mike Flex negotiates.
Yes,
Offer gets accepted.
absolutely.
Thank you.
If the pre-approval is done
Now we're
right,
under contract. Now we're under contract.
Under contract. If the pre-approval is done right, there's
And
really
then?
nothing for the buyer to do,
Right.
other than, hey, here's your loan
And
disclosures.
that I'll rewind. That's why when you present that offer, you better have that pre-approval.
It's easy, right? So
Absolutely.
if you send us a contract on a Monday morning,
Yep.
the loan is ready to go Monday afternoon.
Done.
Bar signs are in underwriting. Now it's time for inspection and appraisal.
Don't
inspection.
work. And all the new agents out there, don't work backwards. Get a pre-approval, please,
Every time.
please.
Inspection, you guys work on that. We
Yes.
order that. We order the appraisal right
Oh,
away.
this is
But-
I want to talk about this really quick too. I'm going to order a home inspection right away.
I'm going to order appraisal right away.
Exactly. So some agents will say, "Oh, I want to hold off on the appraisal." No.
You can always get refunded,
Exactly.
right? So we order them at the same
And that's
time,
communication.
especially right
It's
now.
all about communication.
Right. Being on the same team.
We were just talking about this
Right.
prior, like 20
Yeah.
minutes ago. We were talking about
It's
this.
a team. It's not,
Yes.
even the seller's agent, they're part of the team,
Done.
right? We got to get it done for the buyer, for the
Right.
seller.
I just had this though, and I'm like, "Why is the appraisal not ordered yet?" Oh, well, we're going
Right.
to wait till the home inspection.
Right. We want to
No.
order it. In this particular market,
Yes.
the appraisers are way behind.
And they are too.
Right? So we want to
Horribly-
order it. We
horribly
want to get it
short.
in line. We have plenty of time. If you do the inspection and it comes back bad for whatever reason, we can
work
just
it,
cancel
we
the
work it,
appraisal
right, and be done with
get
it.
a refund.
Jay,
for the
what is
customer.
your average lead time on an appraisal right now though? So you order it when it's done. What are you thinking?
So normally,
Yeah.
you're probably about a month.
Okay.
But
It's the truth.
I know.
right now, North Star, we're ordering
Right off the
a
rip.
rush on every single one, and we'll pay for that because we don't want to mess around.
No.
These appraisers are absolutely out of control.
2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean that's where you're, and that's with a rush.
Yeah.
Where obviously in a regular market, it
would
comes
be-
back in a couple weeks.
Sure.
Now you got to pay extra to get a rush in 3 weeks. So that's
And I was trying to explain this to another agent the other day, and they put 2 weeks on. So in our contracts, it states, as you know,
yeah.
it says that you give a date for the appraisal, and I'm like, you cannot give 2 weeks.
It's just not.
It's not feasible.
No. Jay, why don't you let everybody out there know what is your contact information?
Yeah.
Because having you on here 2 episodes, maybe 3 or 4 in the future, what is your contact information for if they want to buy or refinance or any type of financial something for buying a house? Please tell them.
All right, so we have cell phone, which is down here because it
Yep,
doesn't
because
stop.
it
So
keeps
it's up.
going off, right?
I think we could share this across, right, camera
Yeah,
guys?
camera guy said it had to be on silent, so it's down here. Camera guy can also.
Yes.
I've seen the episodes previous.
Tom can make it happen.
He's very good.
Tom
He
and
does-
Heather, they make it happen
He
together.
does like
Tag team champs. One of these episodes, I'm going to bring
Yeah.
one of my championship belts,
Yeah.
maybe a couple on here, and we'll get them on here too.
I've seen the Photoshop he does,
Man,
so he
stunning.
definitely could throw the 860-377-2341 across there. That'd
North
be
Star,
nice.
North Star Home Loans.
NStarHomeLoans.com, Facebook,
Yep.
Instagram.
All
but
of the above.
Cell phone's easiest. It's right here.
My thing is that, again, having Jay on here for the last 2 episodes is because we need our clients informed. We need
Absolutely.
everybody out there informed.
And the funny thing was, he was only planned for 1 episode.
And we had to bring him on for 2 because of everything we had to talk about.
Probably gonna be on for another.
I mean, the third one's going to happen. Like,
Share.
share, subscribe, The Real Podcast. Shout out to our broker, Lori Finan. Shout out to Heather and Tom because they make it happen with all this stuff out here. And shout out today,
To the ice cream man.
Ice Cream Man. My goodness.
Good stuff.
6.4%. I'm still making sense.
I love it.
Till next time, everybody. Thank you very much.